This video was sponsored by PowerCircle Clothing and Headbusters Food Company in association with Cook Up Unlimited.
Cook up!
It's not podcast.
Dennis here, back with another episode of This Is Not a Podcast. Y'all already know what the lick read. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, hit that notification button. It's greatly appreciated. So today's episode, it's gonna be a cool episode, man. I didn't get this by request. This is something I woke up with that was on my mind, and I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna do a vlog about it. But before I do that, make sure y'all go to www.powercircle.biz and get updated and motivated. Y'all already know what the lick read. As y'all can see, I'm out the black shirt into the blue. We got them all colors. We got blue, red, we got black, the OG colors, which is my absolute favorite. And it's the best seller because, you know, obviously, there's nothing wrong with all the colors. But me personally, my favorite color is black. And those are the OGs. I always like the original. So y'all see me in black all the time. Black crew necks, black t-shirts, you know, and as a owner, you can get unlimited black t-shirts and whatever colors that you like, but I always, you know, I push the black, I push the black thing because that's my favorite color. You know, let me know in the comments what's your favorite color. Y'all might have seen me with the red spring hoodies. We got everything, you know what I'm saying? And the next batch of merch we do got, our logos and everything like that. You know, everybody been asking about cook up merch and all this type of stuff. So we will have those on the website in the coming weeks. We actually got it already set in play. It's just all a matter of just putting it out there for use. We working on a lot of different things behind the scenes, so just be on the lookout for that. So make sure y'all go to www.powercircle.biz, and please watch at the end of the video. I will be announcing a giveaway from a pretty cool company. No, they're not sponsoring me or anything like that. I just decided that I want to be a blessing to somebody else and give away something cool. So with that being said, let's get into it. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about the difference between your friends and your dogs. I love having this conversation. If you ever been around me and we had like one of those conversations, this is one of the things that I do talk about. I'm one of them people that I do categorize people. I think everybody should do that. Not judging people, but I do categorize people based off your vibe or based off relationships that we probably have. So, when you're coming up in life, you tend to develop friends. Some people say, oh, well, I ain't got no friends, family only. And I could dig that statement, but let's be real. Like, friends become family, friends become enemies, friends become foes, friends become a lot of different things. But nonetheless, there's nothing wrong with having friends. I mean, because I know it sounds cool, because like, even like we consider ourselves, like I myself, I usually say I don't have no friends because I really don't, but I do have friends, you know what I'm saying? I really sat and I thought about this. As much as I say I don't have no friends, I do have friends. I'm one of them people that say, oh, I ain't got no friends, family only, you know what I'm saying? I also say this though, it's a difference between friends and dogs. Now, not the animals, of course, but that's just like a term of endearment. Some people say, if you a person of color, we use a certain term of endearment that's derogatory to other people. Like, we use the N-word sometimes, what's up, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? I might even slip up and say it every once in a while. You might see me on the skits, might even heard a rap or two. But at the end of the day, it's a difference between your friends and your dogs. And I'm about to explain that to you right now if you don't know. So kids, buckle up. I'm about to teach you a lesson. I teach my kids this lesson to this day. I always tell my kids, like, everybody ain't your friend, okay? You start off knowing people and people can befriend you and you can show yourself as to being friendly. But as time goes on, you will realize that everybody ain't your friend. That's a whole nother vlog to have, a whole nother conversation to have. And then, I don't like to really regurgitate those things because I think at this point, if you here, you should know the difference, or you should have known before you got here. With that being said, I'm finna tell you what I always tell everybody that I usually have conversations with in this conversation, always come up. During my younger days, I'm gonna say before I had kids, I like to consider myself, what I used to live was what I like to call a double life. Not the kind that where you got a woman over here across town and a woman over here and this and that situation over here. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I was born and raised, grew up, born and bred, Harvey World, USA, a little small suburb town that just sits right outside of Chicago. That's where I am born and raised, fresh out of Ingalls Hospital. If you know, you know. I also grew up just about the same, almost close to the same amount of time in another village just a few miles away in a small village a few miles away. Everybody on my mother's side is just about from this village. Robbins, Illinois, aka Mudville, the Mud. We got a few names that we like to call it. I spent a lot of time there too as well. See, my parents married young, a little after I was born, and then, you know, just like most young marriages, premature marriages, being young and dumb, you grow apart. So that marriage was pretty short-lived. You know what I'm saying? It lasted for a little bit, and then that was that. And I was one of them kids, you know, well, I don't know, did I touch on this? But I'm letting y'all in on a little testimony. I was one of them kids that was like happy that my parents, you know, split. I know that's like the wrong thing to say. I would never tell my kids that. I pray my kids will never feel that way about me and my wife. But, you know, when you marry young and you make premature decisions, this is what happens. And it really affects the children. So with that being said, that explains why I lived a double lifestyle, because I spent half my life in one spot and another half in another. You know what I mean? Like, I stayed with my pops. Like, I was one of the kids, you know, I actually lived with my pops on and off. And like, I would stay with my mom in the summer, stay with my pops during school, or sometimes I just stay with my mom until I got a little bit older, like high school. Then that's when I just, you know, I stayed with my OG, and then I went off and striked on my own after that. But other than that, during my come up in my adolescence, I had a set of friends. So it's like we all have a set of friends, and then you have brothers. You know what I'm saying? If you're fortunate enough to develop a friendship with certain individuals, that friendship turns into brotherhood. You know, your friends become your brothers and sisters, basically. You know, it comes a time where when you build time with people, your friends become your brothers and sisters, like another extension, you know, extended family, brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And them the people you're down for through thick and thin. Them the people that, you know, when you get older, you have kids, they kids become basically your kids. You know, your godchildren, nieces, nephews, you name it, whatever title you prefer. This is what usually happens with most friendships, your typical friendships. And then there's your dogs. You know that double life thing I was talking about? Well, this is kind of like part of it. I actually touched on some of this stuff, you know, during 3 Feet No Pressure. Now, I wasn't always the most pleasant guy in the world that you see today. I used to be a little bit just like, you know, most kids coming up in the inner city. You know, you go through your rebellious phase, or so to speak. In my case, you know, once I jumped off the porch, you kind of became a man early. You know what I'm saying? Like, my pops, he taught me a valuable lesson without teaching me. Like, he taught me how to fend for myself and how to, you know, handle things like a man, or accordingly, however you see fit. Whatever you see how you should handle it, you handle it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Some people teach you things without having to say, hey, sit down, let me learn you something. Sometimes, you know, just by observing, just having a gift of observation teaches you a lot of different things, teaches you things about life. Or then, you know, along the way, you get jewels along the way of that. I always had a set of friends, like, you know, jumping off the porch, you gonna have maybe 1 or 2 sets of friends. And I'm gonna tell you why. I had one set of friends that, you know, like your typical friends. Where do you meet your friends? At the park, at school. I had my school friends, and I had my friends outside of school. And then in between that, I had my dogs. Now, who are your dogs? Your dogs is the people that's gonna be there when it's cold red, that's gonna be there when it's thick and thin. Like, some of my dogs, you know, they gentrified now. So, you know, like when I call them, it used to be a time where if I called them, they automatically thought it was a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't call them. Matter of fact, you couldn't bring them to the cookouts. You couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they live a certain type of lifestyle to where, you know, they not as approachable as most folks. You know what I'm saying? Because due to the circumstances, due to their beliefs, due to their lifestyle, how they living. And I thank God that, you know, a lot of my dogs don't have to worry about those type of things no more. But it was definitely a learning curve, and that's another story for them to tell if they ever tell it. But at the end of the day, that's what I consider dogs. So those were my dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, we made a pact with each other, like, whenever, however, if you ever need me, I'ma be there. Sometimes your dogs is more loyal than your family could ever be. And sometimes your dogs could be, you know, it don't necessarily mean nothing in terms of an act of violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, just there for you in general when the chips are down. Whenever you know you need them. You know what I'm saying? This ain't necessarily, you know, it don't have to necessarily be cold red. You know what I mean? Now your friends, you can bring them around moms. You develop some sort of camaraderie, some sort of bond that builds into brotherhood and sister, you know, brother and sisterhood and whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of my, you know, I got a select few of friends that's not friends anymore. You know, they family. They basically family. Like my mama call them son. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Or you know, like I can trust them with my life. I could trust them around, you know, with certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's family. You know what I'm saying? And then you know. Your friends is your friends. You know, your friends are allowed to be phony. Your friends are allowed to do certain things. Like, I like the kind of relationship I have with all of them because the type of person I am, you know, if you can't be yourself or you can't tell your friends what they need to hear as opposed to what they want to hear, you know what I mean? That's necessarily not your friend. That's more of an associate or just you being politically correct with people. So I'm not sure if I made my point because I know I'm kind of rambling, but I like to ramble sometimes when I'm on the fly because it was on my mind to talk about it. I'm going to leave it there and I might even elaborate some more and kind of clean this up for y'all. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification button. It's greatly appreciated. So we're not gonna waste no camera time. I'm gonna get up off of this joint. Y'all know my slogan.
Y'all all know my slogan. Keep God first, stay sucker free, and by all means get to the money.